It's his company.
All right, let's see. I'm actually going to add some media here.
I have never had so many cameras pointed at me at the same time in my whole life. It is slightly intimidating. Like, really. God, I hope I don't have any food in my teeth. Well, you don't have to go away. I was just making an observation. You're fine. You don't have to run away. I didn't mean to hurt your feeling. Your one feeling. You only get one. On an as-needed basis. I like your shirt. I'm glad they're all aced out yesterday.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, what's that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, videographer guy. He's our walking billboard and making everybody ask who he is.
Give it something I'll wear. So it's like,
All right.
Well, we're glad to have you. Thank you for being
Okay.
here.
I think we're ready.
Okay.
Well, we've been going live for a few minutes here, or for a minute or so, but that's okay.
That's why they have that wonderful editing.
All right, we'll go 3, 2, and 1. Let's see.
So what place you want me to look?
We can look at each other and then just kind of at the
Include
camera
the
occasionally.
audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on in, friends.
All right, well, welcome back to another episode of Composites Weekly. Today, we're at day 3 of IACMI's annual members meeting, and it's great to spend some time. This is actually my first day, but everything I've been told is the last couple of days have been excellent, great turnout here. And I'm happy to have Joni Harmon. She is the vice president of the IACMI, and she's the workforce director. And today we're going to be talking about some of the initiatives that they
included extra titles in there. She's vice president of workforce.
Vice president of work and work. Vice president of workforce. Yes, Mark gave me a few extra titles there.
He gives me some extra money for all those extra titles.
So today we're going to be talking about workforce education, and as everyone knows, obviously in manufacturing, the U.S. is facing a crisis when it comes to workforce. Per a Deloitte report, U.S. manufacturing is expected to have 2.1 million unfilled jobs by 2030. So we're going to be talking about some of the obviously, as I mentioned, the workforce education that Joni's in charge of, and what they're doing, and some of the obviously some of the work that you're doing in terms of helping to educate or bring young people into our industry. So, Joni, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for participating in our members meeting this week here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I think it's our largest group ever.
That's what Mark said.
It has been amazing to see so many people come out and just exchange great ideas, the networking, the presentations on the new technology. It's really exciting. It's been a great week.
Biggest takeaway so far for you?
Well, I have been involved in sessions dedicated to workforce development. So I can't speak to the technology side, although I know there's lots of great ideas and great takeaways with that. But on the workforce development side is really how we have so many more partners than we've had in the past, and how excited they are about what we're doing and wanting to be a part of it and deploy it out to their communities and their regions. We have universities, community colleges, technical colleges, high schools, and training centers are all here this week with us. And it's our largest group ever. We have over 50 participants that are here exclusively for workforce development and to take some of that new technology and embed it in curriculum and training, which is exactly what we want. That's how we're going to get the new technology and innovation out there, is through the workforce. So having our partners be so excited about it and wanting to embed it is really a change from the past. I feel like we've gained a lot of momentum in the past couple of years, really since COVID started, everyone's thinking about workforce development in a big way because we don't have enough people to backfill as those that are retiring age out of the workforce.
Well, it's the news right now. I mean, companies can't find enough skilled people to fill positions, and unfortunately, sometimes even the ones they can aren't qualified. They don't have the skills, and it takes a lot of time and effort, a lot of expense to train these people up and spend, and you really don't know how committed they are and what the longevity of that employee will be. But I love what you're doing. So you're saying after post COVID, you've seen an increase of I guess an interest in these programs for young people to really hone their skill sets. If they don't want to go to, are a lot of these coming out of college, or are a lot of these young people maybe foregoing the traditional route of a university and then saying, you know what, I'm just going to hone my skills? Or
it's really a mix. I think not everybody wants to go on to college, but they still want to be productive.
Yeah.
They want to make money.
Yeah.
And especially, the younger generation is kind of thinking about that. So the training programs that we're helping to establish really address the whole continuum. It addresses for those that maybe they want to get a skill and they want to go into the workplace, or they want to start their own company. Lots of entrepreneurship is happening. And the digital platform has made that so much more accessible than it has ever been.
Yeah.
And then you have those who want to go on to a 2-year or a 4-year college, and so having these different pathways that allow them to become makers, to do things, and not just know things, but to also be able to do things has been, I think, very appealing.
Yeah.
Knoxville, I don't know if you know this, is the maker city.
I know.
Yeah, we have a lot of makers here. And we're not just exclusive to Knoxville, we're national, but we're seeing it everywhere where younger people are really involved in making. And I think some of that's TikTok, some of it's YouTube.
Yeah. I've got some friends that are involved in the maker space, and regular attendees on a regular basis, and they're older people, but I think it energizes them to be around the young people and teach them and see.
It's a bridge, right? It's a common interest bridge.
Absolutely. So how long have you been with IACMI?
I have been with IACMI since 2016, so this is my 7th year this month.
Okay, all right.
I started June 1st.
Okay. And you've been in this position as workforce director ever since? Or?
I've always been in workforce development, so that's what I started, and I'll probably always be in workforce development. There's something very gratifying.
No, absolutely.
Right? When you see people start to get confidence and achieve their dreams, like, oh wow, I helped.
It's very rewarding.
In some small way.
Yeah. So, from your standpoint, you talked about the digital platforms. What are some of the specifics? I mean, how, a young person that may be interested in moving into this industry, what would it take for them to get started? How do they find out more? How do they learn more to get started on some of these programs?
Really visiting our website at IACMI.org is a great way to see what we have. We do a lot of courses that are online and available for free. So we just launched through America's Cutting Edge, ACE, that's one of our educational programs, the composites program for machining of composites.
Sure.
And that's a really great online. It's completely free. They get a certificate at the end upon completion, but also we're giving out Credly badges that they can put on their digital media, social media. Okay. And that shows that they have completed it. It's a verifiable credential. Right. And it also, they can search and see what kind of jobs are calling for things like advanced composites as part of their skill sets.
That's great. And of course, you have the ACE Awards every year. Those are.
We just did Eagle of Excellence Award.
Yeah.
And we awarded it to Benina and Romeo. They are two of University of Tennessee Knoxville employees under Dr. Uday Vaidya. And they have taken our K through 12 program and just embraced it and grown it to immense proportions. We've had over 2,000 students and students and teachers go through the program since January. Over 2,000.
Oh, wow.
And they're not just coming on a tour, they're doing hands-on activities. So it's launched in 3 schools and doing a fuller scale pilot this fall.
What are some of them gravitating to, certain segments in our industry? What would you say the predominant interest is? Is it I know 3D printing, additive manufacturing? Is it in clothes molding, thermoplastics. I mean,
well, what I'm seeing for our 3D printing is just a really cool thing, and kids love that because they can physically see something being made right before their eyes.
Sure.
But what they're loving about composites is that they can make things with regular everyday materials that they can get anywhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they can make all kinds of cool things. They've made skateboards and sleds and shields and sports equipment. We had someone make a snowboard.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a great thing. I mean, you can, it's really, there's so many things that you can do. Sporting goods, I mean, obviously young people gravitate towards, skateboarding and stuff like that. So that's an easy,
just giving them confidence to know that they can do something and think through the process and if it's done right, it can be done, it's safe, right?
Sure, yeah.
So we teach safety first.
Right. Yeah. Some of these chemicals can start
there can be danger in those chemicals, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so watching them just from a hands-on standpoint at the very basic level, them putting, obviously materials together, whether it's, carbon fiber and your resin and mixing those and having that catalyzed and then pulling that out of a part. I'm sure that kind of just opens the door for them.
They just light up. They get so excited about the things that they're making, and we're excited for them too. And you know what's really kind of an intentional consequence of this is these kids go home or from our workshops and our programs, and they show their parents, and the parents then are like, my kid's the smartest kid in the world.
Yeah, look what he did.
They're not saying don't go into manufacturing or don't get too good at that. We don't want you to do that. They're excited about it, and then they start posting it on social media. Look what they made today.
Right.
So we're changing perceptions.
Yeah, and I know you guys are funded by, or these programs are funded by the Department of Defense.
We do have 2 programs funded by Department of Defense. Now, IACMI, the Composites Institute, is a Department of Energy sponsored.
Right.
But with workforce development, we are really looking at a broader impact of where multiple agencies are, every agency is concerned about the workforce. So we have what we call our Advanced Career Pathways program. That is really focused on helping educational providers set up composites programs.
Yeah.
There aren't that many composites programs in post-secondary, and pretty much none in K through 12.
Right.
So we give them money to build out their labs. Dr. Vaidya and his team, they work with them to understand what their regional needs are, because it's really, at the end of the day, it's about jobs and industry.
Absolutely.
So we make sure there's alignment there, and then train the trainer, support the instructors. And so this is kind of a force multiplier.
Yeah. Well, I think that I think you're seeing an increase of young people probably looking in this direction, with cost of education going up continually. And, I know that a lot of people are looking at that cost-benefit analysis of, what am I getting for, what's my return on investment, right? And you start asking that question, or maybe they're not asking the question, their parents are asking that question, what's my return on investment? Or, young people coming out with so much, just burdened with so much, debt hanging over their shoulder. And, opportunities like this are certainly available. And I think with the skills gap that we're seeing, I think it's just a vacuum that is ready to be filled, right? I mean,
yeah, I think a lot of this younger generation of students that we hope to influence are seeing their parents' student loans become due, or they've been paying on them for years.
Yeah.
And maybe they're hearing their parents complain about, well, I got this degree, it cost me $100,000 and I make $60,000 and I've got a gap there. There's some frustration, I think, of those of us who were at the age that went through the educational system where student loans were really, as educational costs rose, that was really the only way to pay for it.
Yeah.
And now we're paying those student loans back and thinking about that ROI.
Sure.
What we offer is an entry point, and it's not the end point, because we look for everyone from the person who's doing the layup to the person who's designing it to the person who's in the lab doing R&D. So we look at the entire continuum of the workforce pipeline. And what's nice about that, there's entry points for every single person, no matter where they want to be.
Yeah.
So our programs are tailored to help out. We're not a school or an educational provider. What we do is offer enabling services to our partners so that they can then go educate and train the workforce. We do a few workshops. In fact, we do them with Composites One and Magnum Venus products.
Absolutely.
We do 4 of those a year, but that's really to introduce new technology and processes out to industry users.
Yeah. And about the internships, first of all, you support a lot of the STEM. I think you probably mentioned this. A lot of the STEM program, the students K through 12. Is that mostly in this area, or is
Well, we just piloted, really opened it up in January. That's the one that has 2,000 people that have already gone through it, students and teachers. So K through 12, we are in conversations to expand that on a national level.
Okay. That's fantastic.
And we do have another program that is funded through Department of Defense called America's Cutting Edge.
Okay.
And that's really about machine tool technology and education. And the program itself is influenced by current research and development that is being commercialized out of Oak Ridge National Lab and our partners MSC Industrial. Tony Schmitz, who's with the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, he is the one who has really written all of the curriculum. He has the vision. He's a machine tool dynamics expert. And he's written the curriculum in a way that it engages people very quickly. It's kind of like a taste test.
Sure.
They do an online course, and whether you've been doing machining for 30 years or you didn't even know what the CNC meant of machining, it quickly engages. It's a 6-hour online course, and then that individual gets the opportunity to come to a face-to-face, what we call an ACE boot camp.
Yeah.
5 days. Day 1, the first part of their day is learning about safety and common nomenclature, but by the afternoon, they're downstairs on those machines making a part.
That's awesome.
And they leave. They know if they love it. They know if they hate it. I had 3 majors in college. I wish I had a boot camp so I didn't waste so much time and money.
No, exactly.
They know day 1 if they're having a good time or not.
Yeah, and that's great for them because it may not be, it may not be the right fit for them, but they figure it out off of that first day of spending time on the machine and
that's true.
Understanding if that's what they want to do or not. So.
I'll just say one more thing about the boot camp and the magic of it.
Okay.
It's not really magic. It's just good design, which Tony's an expert at.
Yeah.
Whether we've had people in there that are 3rd-generation machine shop owners in a class with those who had no experience.
Right.
And they all walked away with positive reviews that they had learned something. Different levels of learning. Those that didn't know anything about machining learned a little bit about machining. Those that have been doing it for 3 generations learned about the new technology, and they wanted to implement it in their company.
Oh, wow.
So it fits anyone and everyone, and it's free.
It's free.
It's free.
So again, how can listeners, people who are watching, how can they learn more about these programs, or learn more about, read up more on ACE and the Advanced Composite Career Pathways?
Sure. Just visit IACMI's website. It's www.iacmi, IACM as in Mary, .org. Also, americascuttingedge.org will also have it, but they're linked, so you can get to both.
Fantastic. Joni, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It's great catching up, and happy to be here. I know today's the final day. I guess it wraps up, this afternoon? Or?
Yes, this afternoon. We've got working groups and tours of our workforce development partner sites here this afternoon. Okay.
Well, that's best of success to you all. Look forward to seeing you. I guess you'll be at CAMX here up in, in just a few months now.
Atlanta, Georgia,
that's right.
This year?
That's right, not too far away. That is Joni Harmon. She is, again, the VP of Workforce, or the Workforce Director. Is it Workforce VP of Workforce or Workforce Director?
It's Vice President of Workforce.
Vice President of Workforce, okay.
Yeah, or just Workforce.
Okay. Joni Harmon, thank you so much.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, that's all right. We'll just blame it on Mark.
I'm blaming it on Mark. He's getting...
All right, that's good. That's great.
He's getting the wet noodle. Smacking.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.